Alrighty, so we are starting today on 11/11/11 on Veterans Day to give a little bit of history and background on how we got to Veterans Day in America today. Now, on June 28th, 1919, World War I, or the Great War, officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. And that codified peace terms between Germany and the victorious Allies. However, we celebrate Veterans Day every year, not on June 28th, but on November 11th, because it was on that day in 1918, 7 months prior to the end of World War I, that fighting had halted between the Allied nations and Germany. Now, as Jacques mentioned previously, on 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, an armistice went into effect, which formalized the agreement of both parties to cease hostilities while an attempt was made to negotiate a lasting peace. Now, 1 year after the cessation of hostilities, and 5 months after the official end to World War I, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th, 1919 as the first commemoration of Armistice Day, stating, "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride and the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nations." Now, from there, congressional actions in 1926 and later in 1938 made November 11th each year a legal holiday to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. My clicking was off. In 1945, a World War II veteran named Raymond Weeks from Birmingham, Alabama, had the idea to expand Armistice Day to celebrate all veterans and not just those who had died in World War I. Now, Weeks led a delegation to General Dwight Eisenhower, who supported the idea of National Veterans Day. Weeks actually led the first national celebration of the encompassing Veterans Day in 1947, and he continued to lead that celebration annually until his death in 1985. In 1954, 8 years after Weeks held his first Armistice Day celebration for all veterans, President Dwight D. Eisenhower and the US Congress signed a bill into law establishing and officially changing the name of the holiday from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. In 1968, the Uniform Holidays Bill was passed by Congress, which moved the celebration of Veterans Day from 11/11 to the fourth Monday in October. Now, this change was intended to ensure 3-day weekends for federal employees by celebrating the 4 national holidays on Mondays. That would be Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Columbus Day. It was thought that these extended weekends would actually encourage travel, recreational, cultural activities, and help to stimulate the economy around the holiday time. However, many states really did not agree with the decision and continued to celebrate the holiday on its original day, 11/11. But regardless of that, the Uniform Holidays law went into effect in 1971, and it wasn't until 1975, at the tail end of the Vietnam War, that President Gerald Ford returned Veterans Day to November 11th due to the historical significance of the date. Now, in legal observance of Veterans Day, 2 minutes of silence is recommended to be observed at 2:11 Eastern, 11:11 a.m. Pacific time on this day. However, there are multiple ways to celebrate beyond our moment of silence to observe the holiday and honor those who have served. Now, if you're lucky enough to be in the Washington, D.C. area like myself, there are countless museum exhibits, monuments, and memorials dedicated to veterans of wars throughout the United States history, including the World War I Memorial, which was opened in DC in April this year, the World War II Memorial, which is displayed on the screen right now, the Korean War Veterans Memorial, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. But it's important to remember that Veterans Day is not the same as Memorial Day. Whereas Memorial Day specifically honors those who have died in US military service, Veterans Day is a day to celebrate all veterans and honor them for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. Now, this includes acknowledging today's veterans in whichever way you see fit, whether it's by participating in a local Veterans Day celebration, by keeping our disabled veterans in your thoughts and prayers, by supporting a veteran-owned business in your area, or by simply honoring the service and sacrifice of a veteran you know. So approach the day today as a day to celebrate our men and women in uniform, both past and present. And I hope this brief presentation gives you all a little bit more encouragement to have a happy Veterans Day. Back to you, Jacques and Dick.